Hello everyone and welcome to this historic Pauper deck guide. Now for today I have blue-white control and ready for you. Now why is it a bit hard to play control in Pauper? Because we do not have access to board wipe, so it's not easy for us control decks to 2-for-1 our opponent. But in historic Pauper I didn't think that's a big deal because, hear me out, there's no that one creature that sticks on the field and then you have no way of dealing with it. So you're fine with trading 1-for-1 with your opponent until you eventually come out on top and win with your card advantage or with your creatures. So how does this control deck function? And before I get into that, I want to tell you that as a control deck, I need you to kind of know what things to expect from your opponent and what decks to play around. So I'll leave a link down in the description of current Pauper decks I think are gonna see play. So make sure to read those, at least be familiar with the cards that your opponent might play, and check out my other Pauper guides because I will include some of the decks I think are good in this format. So with that done, let's get into the deck. So blue-white control is a obviously control deck. You're trying to get into the late game where you're gonna win with your big threats. Now how do you get to the late game and how do you generate card advantage? So to trade 1-for-1 you use Pacifism and you use Lawmage's Binding. They're essentially the exact same card, but Lawmage's Binding is better because it has Flash, but both of them are super good in this deck. Now another way you have of removing creatures is Summary Judgment. This card is insane in the Pauper format and there's nothing it cannot remove, and trust me on this one, there's nothing it cannot remove. Even if sometimes you're gonna have to cast it on your main phase, but that's fine. So that's pretty much it for removal. Essence Scatter is a counter spell, but I mean you may count it as removal because you get to technically remove an opponent creature from the field, and that's it for a removal package. How do you gain card advantage? How do you function as a control deck? So late game you're gonna have your Witching Well and your Sphinx's Insight to win the game. Witching Well is super good early on in the game because let's say you know that you're facing another control deck. Sometimes you face the Mirror Control in Historic Pauper, and you see two Pacifisms on top. You play it and then you scry them both to the bottom. This is giving you card selection, and card selection is the most important thing with control decks, and that's why I need you to know what you're playing around to know what cards to pick. Omen of the Sea is essentially also card selection. That's it. Revitalize is kind of a time walk effect. So for example, imagine it's turn 2, your opponent is attacking you for 2. Alright, he attacks you, he ends his turn, end step you gain 3 life and draw a card. So technically you just time walked your opponent, you did not do anything on this turn, and you just gain one more card. You thinned out your deck with one more card. So our only counter spells are Essence Scatter and Cancel. I'm not playing too many counter spells because the meta isn't that focused yet, and there's no way for me to build the most efficient control deck, because the thing about control is control improves as the meta goes along. So with the wider card pool, control kind of declines as a good deck. So that's it for our spells. Now Erratic Visionary is super good because you can play it early on in the game. It blocks your opponent creatures, and at the end step you can always cycle on this card and draw a card, and it gives you more card advantage and card selection. So that's going to be pretty much it for how we survived at the long game. Now how do you win the game? Daybreak Chimera is super good in this deck because, think about it, Pacifism, Lawmage's Binding, they're all enchantments that stay on the field. So with 3 Pacifisms or 2 Pacifisms, Lawmage's Binding, this essentially costs you only 2 mana. So let's say it's turn 5, you can drop this and have a cancel up because it only costs you 2 mana. So it's super good in this deck. Witness of Tomorrow is a mana sink, and mana sinks are super important at the end of the game because you finish trading 1-for-1 with your opponent, you're ready to finish the game. So if you drop this on turn 5, swing next turn, you're going to be able to scry every end step, and that's going to be a huge blowout for your opponent. As soon as you get to select your cards, you're going to win pretty fast. And our last win condition is called Water Snapper. So this is super good in the format because other control decks, when you get to resolve this, cannot deal with this easily. Now the main decks only have one card that can deal with it if I'm not wrong, which is the new Theros card. It's 3 mana. It says target opponent either sacrifices an enchantment or sacrifices a creature. So be sure to play around that when you play this card. So that's gonna be pretty much it. Our land base is super basic, 13 islands because we do have a lot of blue in our meta. Not in our meta, I mean in our deck. 7 plains, and include 2 cycle lands. I don't want too many because I don't want to get tapped lands at the start of the game, but it's always good to not help you flood out because look, we're playing 26 lands. We might flood, but it should not happen. And Tranquil Coves are just our dual lands that gains us a bit of life. That's gonna be pretty much it for this deck guide. I do want to remind you to watch the other Pauper deck guides just to know what to play around as a control deck. That's pretty much it for this video. If you did enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, leave a like, comment what deck you want me to see play tomorrow in the Historic Challenge, and I'll see you guys next time.